Doms. Domcats. I know. It's too cold for your little kitty self. But you want to come out to take a dump. Why don't you use your litter box? Doms. You want to go outside? You want to go outside? Let's go. Let's go. Doms, since you want to have a cuddle, we need to have a talk about the transfer case to see what your thoughts are, Tomcats. First, issue started happening when we went to BC. I started smelling something but couldn't find out where it was coming from. I don't know if my transfer case got heated up, but on the way home the transfer case was making noise, but then it disappeared. Now it's whining, Tomcats. There's a few theories I have. Maybe my 6-gear planetary has chewed up a gear. Maybe it overheated and a bearing is shot. But we need to drain the oil, Tomcats. We need to see what's going on. What are your thoughts? Do you just want to get petted? Is that what you want? And gin scritches? Not looking forward to this, but I need to see what the heck is going on. So I guess one of the things I want to do right now is probably just jack her up, get tires off the ground so I can rotate it without removing the drive shafts and see what the heck is up. Alright, this is where the fun begins. Try out my new little O-light pen light. There we go. See what we find underneath. Well, there's definitely a leak. I discussed that before. Gonna have to reseal it, but looks like both transfer case bolts have fell out and fell in the bottom of the pan, so that's another thing I gotta look at. Plus, see if the cable linkage is up. But why did the transfer case bolts fall out? I showed this numerous times before, but if you're going to remove the skid pan, having a motorcycle jack is definitely your best friend to lower it down. I need to center it out more. Anti-seize for the win. Oh yeah. There's my 2 bolts. Right. Keep us on jack stands. Put the transmission in neutral. It's too high right now. You know, having those bolts come out, definitely not very good. Alright, first things first. Transfer case is in neutral. I don't feel any binding at all. That's the drain plug. It's a 30 millimeter. And see just how nasty it is. Hopefully there's no metallic filings, but I think I need to move the camera back in my drain pan, because you just never know what you're gonna find. Even the last little bit pouring out, I am not seeing any metallic filings at all. So I might actually be okay. All right. It's the moment of truth. I did not see not seeing a river of silver in there, so I might actually be okay. Second thought, I changed my mind. There seems to be quite a bit of metallic file in there. You can see it swirl now. Something is letting go. Well, that sucks. There's no point putting oil back in it, because we better address the situation before it gets worse. Figure out what went wrong in there and how we can address it. So now at this point, obviously I won't know what's going on until it's taken apart and we inspect it. So far, the front output bearing for the drive shaft seems to be good. The slip yoke eliminator seems to be fine there. There's not a lot of bearings in these, but there's a lot of metallic filings that I found in the oil once I started swishing it around. Now there's a couple things we also need to look at that maybe I might be overreacting, but there is a whine and I need to figure out what's going on. Did mix parts between a 231C and a 231J. Now I did make a 6-gear planetary out of both of them, and one thing you need to know is make sure that your planetary has the same gears, because one set has a rounded cut and another set has a sharper cut. Now my 231C has a build date in 95, which has the smaller cut gears. In 94 they had the rounder cut, so I don't think the problem is related there, because and I even went back and looked at the video just to make sure, and they were both cut the same, but if they were the wrong cut gears, obviously you would know when you tried to fit it together, and they would obviously look different. But judging by what I see, there's two things. It could be all the parts wearing together because we mix matched, but of course there's a lot of metal filings, something is wearing. So at this point I'm going to assume the problem is probably with the input bearing. That's what I'm going to look at, and I won't be able to know until we get it out. Maybe that outside piece on the input bearing, is there a chance that maybe I installed it wrong and it's not getting the oil, or the oil isn't draining? I'm not sure how that works. I have to figure it out once I get it apart, but something is definitely wrong there. Gonna have to start removing the transfer case, and then also have to reseal all those parts. But it's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. You guys will hopefully learn something from this. Because I did have all this metal and was looking forward to building the rack, but that's okay, we'll just have to wait. So last night, guy was parting out a bunch of Jeep parts. I picked up this NP231 transfer case for $100. It's supposed to be working good. I'll probably throw a rebuild kit on it, do some videos on rebuilding it, and turn around and flip it when someone needs one and make some money. But one thing too, the NP241 is supposed to have a 6-gear planetary as well that can go into the NP231. That's something I need to look at just in case my planetary is toast. You never know. But I guess I should go underneath and Start removing the drive shafts and everything else. Having this long 1/4-inch ratchet makes it nice to get in there and remove these drive shaft bolts that are Loctited in. Got one bolt left holding the transfer case on. Learned my lesson from previous times that when that sucker comes apart, there's quite a bit of transmission oil in that tunnel, so I'm going to drain out a little bit. There, I wrestled the transfer case out. That wasn't too bad. The tone ring inside seems to be working good. I do need to jack up the oil pan, remove this outside cover, reseal it, because that's where it's leaking transmission oil somewhere. But yeah, now we can figure out where the wire's coming from. Now I got this on the bench. Really gonna start by removing the slip yoke eliminator, the front case first. Have a look. All right, let's have a look at this. I don't know. Planetary almost seems a little rough, but that could be just because of the 6-gear planetary. We don't know yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull off the slip yoke eliminator, pull out the speedo sensor. The gear looks like it's really starting to take a beating. Let's get this yoke off. Investigate further. Something stinks in there for sure. Just getting the case spread open. Now the case has a couple holes as we piss out the last of the transmission, our transmission fluid. There. Pull that oil pump off. The screen definitely has some crap in there. Cause this front yoke come out. I had a rubber mallet here. Where did you go? Where did you go? All right, jumping the gun a little bit. The only thing that stuck out when I took it apart was that the input bearing is a little rough. And I kept a lot of the bearings from the Jeep, so I just swapped it out. But another thing is that I was using this one, and it has a one-way cut gear. And you can see the back side is a two-way cut, where the original Jeep Planetary, if you can see it in there, is a one-way cut in the middle. And then if I show you the Planetary that I got apart, you can see almost like the pyramid, it's a two-way cut. So I'm going to use this one right here because it's a two-way cut. I examined the 6-gear Planetary. All the planets seem to be good. This was full of crap in between the teeth, so I cleaned that out. Should be good to go. There is some differences in the shift forks, but I don't think that really matters. I need to clean that out a little bit more. But everything seems... I don't see anything out of the obvious that could be possibly worn. So I just replaced that bearing right there, and I guess we're going to assemble it and possibly look at running some thicker oil. Well, the shit show never stops around here. I am a little delayed in this project. My goal today was to come outside, get the transfer case back together, fix that mount underneath, bolt the transfer case in, get it ready to go. But the last couple days, I had an iPhone XR and it was having issues connecting to the network. Didn't matter if I reset it to carrier settings, did a hard reset, all that drive, did not matter, just was crapping out. Most of the time was searching for signal. And I thought, you know what, maybe it's my SIM card, but you know, I put the SIM card in an older iPhone and it worked fine. So I had to go buy a new phone today, update all the data. I got an iPhone 12 Pro now. It seems kind of weird that the phone all of a sudden decided to fail after the Apple Care warranty was up by like 3 weeks. Seems a little fishy to me. They do say that the film quality on the iPhone 12 Pro is supposed to be really good. We're about to find out because that's what I'm currently filming in. So I got shift forks in. I got the chain back in. We're going to assemble it and probably just run some thicker oil with it. All right, it's been a few days. Silicone would have all healed up by now, or should I say dried. I can install this back in and see what happens. All right, this is where the fun begins. And something I didn't really think of before is, by the way my excuse me, the way my transfer case is tilted, I may have to remove the speedometer gear and fill from there too, because I might not get enough fluid in from where it's at. So I need to run 1.5 to 2 quarts. And since I'm running the 6-gear planetary, their heavier chain, I'm going to run a thicker oil. I'm just going to have to change it more. And I'm going to run a 5W30. Alright, we'll let the magic begin. We got a little bit of transmission fluid in there still, not a big deal. Pump this 530 in there. Wonder how much I'll get. So you can see right there, I'm starting to come out at under 1.5 quarts. And you think before I had this set up, I would have had the plug somewhere over. Fail. Yeah, so definitely if I would have, can't remember now, but been so long ago, if I would have filled it up underneath, it would have been a little low on oil. That you can fill from. Let's pull that gear out. Oops, shit. Everything's all buttoned up. Put the skid pan back underneath and we'll be good to go. I'm gonna open up this package. In this package was a set of beers that were sent to me. And I'm gonna open them up and see what the heck they are. All right. These were sent to me by Ben Boatwright. Ooh, we got a letter. What do we got? Dear Jerry, my neighbor Lawson and I were in the liquor store and saw this beer and immediately thought of you. We hope that you enjoy it. We've both been watching your channel for many years now and love your videos. Keep it up and keep them coming. Also, best regards to Tomcat and good luck in the job market too. 2020 has been a sucky year all around. Hopefully this beer brings some smiles. All the best, Ben and Lawson. We particularly love welding project videos. What do we got here? We got some dips. Look at this, eh? Beers all wrapped up. What do we got? Sour Me Unicorn Farts Glittered Sour Ale. Oh yeah. He said pour it into a glass. So I think when we have a motherfucking beer time, that's exactly what we're gonna have to do. Unicorn Farts, D-Claw Brewing Company, 5.5%. I'm actually gonna be pretty pumped to try this out. Pony up for a taste of glittered sour ale brewed with a trio of fruits, fruity cereal, and a swirl of edible glitter based on the flavor profile of the famous Unicorn Farts donut made with fruity cereal. This beer is medium bodied with big fruit notes, slight tardiness plus a hint of malty biscuit. A fantastical collaboration between D-Claw Brewing Company and the Diablo Donuts. I'm going to be pumped to try that out. Oh, Mr. Tomcat's doing his favorite thing. I'm looking at the birds. Do you see any gills? Did you see that bird fly by? Well, let's take this thing for a rip, see what happens. So far so good, running 5W30 oil, not hearing any weird noises or anything else. Do some back alley cruising, 4-wheel drive. Just in some 4x4 low right now. All right. He said pour it into a glass. It's already kind of foamy, but let's see if we could get some of that glitter in. That's a lot of head. Oh man, that's a brutal pour right there. That sucks. You're fired. Probably not going to see it in this camera, but the glitter is floating around in there. You can see it just floating around. It almost looks like metal particles suspended in oil. Kind of like my transfer case earlier in the video. Alright, it's motherfucking beer time. Another job well done. I wish you guys could really see the glitter inside here. It's interesting. The glitter does kind of seem to compound on the bottom. I'm a huge fan of sour beers, and this one here is pretty darn good. It's actually really good. D-Claw Brewing Company, Sour Me Unicorn Farts. Moving along, transfer case, taken apart, inspected, gone over. Besides for one bearing, didn't really find a whole lot that was possibly wrong with it. You know, perhaps I didn't have enough oil in it when it was first filled. I don't know what the story is. There's still a little bit of a whine, but I'm just gonna have to play it by ear and see. There's stripped it apart, inspected all the bearings. You know, there wasn't any chunks of metal inside. There's metal filings in there, but that could have been from multiple things. I did take the planet gears out of the Jeep planetary and then put them into this one here. So those would have been worn differently to the ring gear, and you know, they could have been wear from there. Completely new rebuild, mixing matching parts. It could be those parts wearing. I'm just gonna have to play it by ear, see what's gonna happen. If it blows, it blows. There's nothing I can do. I got that NP231 on the floor. Maybe try to figure out a way to adapt that to the Jeep if it goes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next one, we're gonna get started on the roof rack for the Jeep. Might go camping next weekend, so I don't think I'll have the roof rack ready by then. But in future adventures, it will be. Anyways, unicorn farts, everybody. See you in the next video.